Breaking news out of the NFL this afternoon. Steelers pass rusher TJ Watt will not require surgery for his torn pectoral muscle. And that is according to multiple reports. Watt is now expected to be out for the next 6 weeks. Now, he suffered that injury in the Steelers' Week 1 win over the Bengals, and there was some initial fear that he could be out for the entire season. The reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Watt tweeted a Terminator gif today, saying, quote, "I'll be back. The Steelers are at home Sunday against the New England Patriots." Let's bring in senior NFL writer Pete Prisco. Pete, I'll get your reaction to this. This is actually a little bit of good news for the Steelers, isn't it?
No, it's great news for the Steelers because without TJ Watt, they're kind of ordinary on defense. I mean, that's the difference maker as a player that he is rushing off the edge. And remember, when this happened, we were watching the game. He popped up, and you could read his lips. He said, "I tore my pec muscle." So initially, you thought it would be for the entire season. The fact that it will probably only be 6 weeks is great news for the Steelers because that's what TJ Watt means to this team. His ability to influence the quarterback changes the way you play against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
So how does it change their defense in terms of their defensive approach? Do you see them making any major changes, or does it just affect how effective they are overall?
No, I think it's just how effective they are overall. They are who they are. They've been that way for a long time. You get those two big guys who can rush off the edge, and you come after the quarterback. And that's who they've been for a long, long time, and they've been good when they've had those guys who can do it from both sides. And last week, Alex Highsmith had 3 sacks, but now he becomes the focal point of the pass rush protection, and that means that slide will go his way. He's going to have to amp up his game a little bit. They're going to have to lean on some guys. Malik Reed, who they traded for from the Denver Broncos, and which now looks like it will turn out to be a really good move. He's got some pass rush ability. And also Jameer Jones, a guy that was cut off Jacksonville's roster on the last cut, and he impressed at times during the preseason. So he's another guy to keep an eye on. But anytime you lose a player of the caliber of TJ Watt, boy, that's a damning blow to a defense, whether it's 6 weeks or for the entire season.
Yeah, and when looking at that 6 weeks, I mean, if you project ahead, he would then return probably on the 30th of October, which would be the game against Philadelphia. That's the Week 8 game. But then they have the bye right afterwards before they host New Orleans. Now, not the easiest of schedules for the Steelers. They're kind of, middle of the pack in terms of that. But this gauntlet that they have to start the season, I mean, you've got Buffalo, Tampa, Miami, and Philly all coming up before the bye. So when you look at that in terms of the bye week appearing where it does and that Philadelphia game just before, do you think Watt will rush to get back for the Philly game, or do you think they're going to keep him out till after the bye week, or do you think that that's going to depend on the results?
I think it depends on the result, but an ideal situation, you keep him after the bye week and you get another couple weeks. So I think you got to be cautious with him. Remember, he is their franchise pass rusher. You don't want to risk anything long-term or something that's going to be a problem going forward. So I think if you can get back and you're healthy enough, the doctor clears you, you play. But if there's some doubt about it, you wait until after the bye week. And by the way, it looks like this week it might be an easy game because the Patriots were so bad last week. Don't doubt Bill Belichick and New England now going into Pittsburgh to play the Steelers when you don't have TJ Watt. I think that's a big hit for the defense, and Bill Belichick knows how to take advantage of defenses that are missing players. So it'll be interesting to see if the Patriots offense comes alive this week against TJ Watt-less defense.
Yeah, that game in the early window, 1 o'clock. You can see it on CBS. Senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joining us to discuss the news. Relatively good news. Pete says great news for the Pittsburgh Steelers. TJ Watt will be back at some point this season. And you see the tweet that Watt himself sent out after getting the news that he's going to miss the next 6 weeks, will not require surgery. So he could be back Week 8 when they take on Philadelphia, but possibly held till after the bye week when they face New Orleans in Week 10.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.